So we recently just got a pretty bullish candle for Tesla stock, and it's likely because of this recent post from Elon where he says Tesla is training a new FSD model with 10x parameters and a big improvement to video compression loss, probably ready for a public release end of next month if testing goes well. Now, of course, this is great news for Tesla stock because what more parameters simply means is that there's more capability to go ahead and comprehend more complex patterns in the data. And so in Tesla's case, this means better understanding of video input like road signs, lanes, pedestrians, and of course, other cars that are driving on the road. Now, currently Tesla stock has this technical pattern where it's in between the symmetrical triangle, and I have here with this red rectangle simply highlighting the area of supply along with the area where there's a lot of volume relative to price. And so what this simply means is that there doesn't mean that Tesla stock can't go above this area. It just means that there's likely to be a bit of resistance for Tesla to go ahead and cross this area. But, you know, of course, we have good news. Of course, if we have a new development of FSD, a lot of investors are likely to pour money with the expectation that we could finally get Tesla to supervise fully self-driving. But I want to go ahead and talk about something pretty important, and that is the level of autonomy. See, currently Tesla sits at level 2 autonomy, and even if we have this update for Tesla, it's not likely to push Tesla into a fully autonomous vehicle, which would really be around level 4 and level 5. And so this is why I pretty much think that this is good news, but I don't think this is likely to push Tesla stock back into the all-time highs like what we saw back in November. See, back in November, Tesla stock was at these euphoric areas, and I made several videos saying, look, Tesla stock isn't going to sustain itself at these levels, and we ended up seeing Tesla stock pretty much capitulate downwards. Now, of course, I've been seeing a lot of posts on X of people highlighting how, hey, look, this symmetrical triangle means that we're going to have this massive short squeeze for Tesla, and Tesla's going to go to the moon. However, I don't necessarily subscribe or agree to the idea. And then also, you have to understand a lot of individuals who are posting these charts on whether it's X or making these videos on YouTube, a lot of them don't have a fundamental understanding of just basic fundamentals, or oftentimes even the technicals that they understand, it's really at a surface level. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best market technician or that I understand technicals at a level that most people don't, but I do want to highlight that I recently just passed my CMT exam, which simply just means that I know a little bit, just a little bit about, the technicals of the market, right? I spent over hundreds of hours to go ahead and learn to pass this exam. And so when I highlight, things about the market, I'm not saying that I'm better than most people that highlight the charts. Just saying, hey, look, I took an exam. That kind of just means I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Now, quick plug, I do have a free institutional playbook that you could go ahead and get more content on some of the concepts that I learned while studying for the CMT. And then along with that, for those of you guys that do put your email here, I'm gonna not only send you that content, but you'll also get subscribed to my free weekly market post insights, where every single week I send out an email about what's going on in the market. So definitely check that out. There's definitely a lot of free content. I'm gonna go ahead and just pin that in the comment section below. So once you're done with this video, before you go to the next video, just make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and also check out that link so that you could get the free institutional playbook, where I go ahead and talk about some of the concepts that I recently learned before I took the exam for the CMT and passed. And using the concepts that I teach, you could learn how to find trade ideas. For example, back in July 21st, I shared this trade idea for those that are insiders in Push and Profit research, where I highlighted again on July 21st that Reddit stock was likely to have a big move. And fast forward to where we currently are today, we ended up seeing a massive 45% jump on Reddit stock afterwards when I first initiated that first trade idea. Now again, I'm not saying that, look, I am the market messiah. All I'm simply doing is just highlighting and sharing some of the things that I teach. This way that you guys could leverage that in your own trading portfolio. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, I do want to highlight, I am not one of those typical guru day traders, right? I'm actually pretty against day trading. I'm more for the idea of building a portfolio, holding things for longer term, swing trading, simply because, let's be honest, most people can't day trade. Most day traders fail. And if you're interested in wanting to, learn some concepts that could help, potentially build your portfolio, this is not the place to learn for day trading, right? The stuff I share, this is more for how to identify those setups where, it could take a few weeks before you had that full 45% jump. So again, check out the links in the description below. Not a day trader, right? The stuff I teach is more for those who are holding for a longer period of time. Not trying to bash the day traders, just it's not for me, right? And I don't think it's for most people either. Most people fail doing that, right? So, hey, if you want to day trade, by all means, but just saying. Now, going back to Tesla stock, we also had this news where Donald Trump, or rather President Donald Trump, was quoted saying Elon Musk has had some bad moments, but he is a good person. Now, I know this is not a huge catalyst for Tesla stock, such as the post that Elon made about, the improvements for FSD, but I wanted to highlight this because this means that the dynamic in the relationship between President Trump and Elon is starting to become repaired, and this is honestly good news for Tesla, right? Because of course, we know that Tesla stock rallied to those insane all-time highs in November due to the partnership between Elon Musk and President Trump, right? There was this idea that we were going to have this president that was going to kind of pave the way and make, a lot of the regulations much simpler for Tesla to really have a successful environment to thrive. And then, of course, I'm not going to go over the whole relationship, how, things went sour for Trump and Elon basically called Trump I don't want to say the word on YouTube. He called him he said he was going to end up on some files, right? And so he said a lot of, there's a lot of back and forth. They both said nasty things to each other. But it seems like they may end up having that relationship kind of repair. Maybe not to the same bromance that they've had before, but this is definitely a positive sign because we may get back to a point where, hey, maybe Trump may provide an opportunity where we get regulatory credits back for Tesla in the future. Of course, this is all speculation, right? We really don't know, but having that relationship repaired is definitely a good sign, and we want to continue looking for just signals or signs of the relationship getting better. This way, possibly, we may have that same period where we have a president that's making a suitable environment for Tesla stock to thrive, especially because we know that in the last earnings call, Elon Musk said the next few quarters might be, and I'm paraphrasing, the next few quarters might present a little, turbulence for Tesla. So we want to be mindful of what's going on with the relationship with Elon Musk and Trump, especially because Elon Musk kind of alienated himself from both political parties, right? We're at a weird place where the Democrats don't like Elon, the Republicans don't like Elon, and I think it's kind of hard to win when you have just two different sides not really liking you. So if we could probably have Elon Musk just, I'm someone who, I'm very moderate, right? I like some of the ideas that Republicans have, I like some of the ideas that Democrats have. I don't fully align with any of the political parties, but I think Elon Musk getting very deep and involved in politics and then getting kind of alienated from both sides is something that really tarnished his reputation. And I think honestly, if he could, and again, you guys can let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are, but I think having a good relationship with President Trump would be beneficial for Tesla, especially as we are currently still in the Trump administration, right? Because we know that the Biden administration didn't like Tesla at all, right? In fact, they were trying to unionize Tesla. We're not going to go ahead and delve into that, but we part of the reason why Tesla rallied in November was because we thought we had an administration that was going to do everything it can to really pave the way for Tesla, and things soured. So hopefully things look better. But we also have this interesting, funny post I want to share with you guys where someone said $150,000 in Tesla stock is most likely going to make you a millionaire, and Elon Musk responded saying, I think this is probably correct. Now, I find this just a bit humorous because, of course, any CEO who sees a post like this, maybe they won't engage, but they're obviously going to be biased and say, yeah, this guy's kind of right. Put your money in my company, right? Let's bring the stock price up, right? So again, it doesn't mean anything, right? Just because Elon Musk said, yeah, this guy is probably right. Because of course, any CEO is going to say that, right? If someone's saying, hey, I think you should buy Uber stock, I'm sure the Uber CEO, maybe he may not publicly say it, right? No, not every CEO is as open as Elon, but he might kind of, want people to buy Uber stock, especially if you're the CEO of a company. You want the company to succeed. So just thought that was pretty funny. But again, make sure to like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe. Before you go, check out the links in the description, and also check out this video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care, guys.